Welcome to the Balls My Court podcast.
Right as you hit
Paul's
the
here.
button.
Kevin Carter over here. He's coughing everywhere. He just had to catch wind in his voice. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get to this bad boy. We're going to see how you doing today, Mr. Carter.
I'm fine.
That cough is okay?
Yeah.
It's under control?
It was just as soon as we started.
Yeah, I kind of caught it in mid-record when I hit the button and you coughed. So, you heard that beautiful cough. That was Mr. Carter trying to catch his wind
really
there.
Beautiful cough.
Just
bad cough.
Bad cough. So,
had to cough.
You know, some people might like to hear me cough. Maybe your wife. Before we start the show, make sure we want to send our condolences to Cam Newton. We found out that
he's fine
in the car wreck.
He's fine.
Had two.
He's fine.
Back
he's fine. They broke in the cover. Breaking news story. He got in a car wreck. He's fine.
All right. Well,
he's got the two things in his back like Tony Romo has, but other than that, he's fine.
Definitely. So I know everybody is freaking out about that. And,
well, not everybody.
Well, not everybody, but most.
Because he's fine.
But that's good that he's okay and everything like that. But you know,
he's fine.
Nobody should be. We hate car wrecks anyways, but you know it's a.
He's okay.
You know, we cover football with, so
he's okay. So. I flipped the Jeep and I didn't even get hurt. He got his car flipped and he broke his back.
Broke his back.
I flipped my car. I'm fine.
You drink a lot of milk, don't you?
I don't know how the hell. I don't know how nobody got hurt in that, but that's just another story for another day.
Blessings.
Yeah, it had to be something because I was parallel parked upside down in between two trees.
Well, you know, I was glad to still have you here doing the podcast. So
this was a long time ago.
Hey, I remember you telling me it a long time.
It's because I wasn't. It's because I'm not big. I liken everything to I'm not big, so there's not a lot a weight to roll around and hit. And
guys, you couldn't see this, but his hand gesture was pretty awesome when he was describing that.
Big.
So he's not big. So
I'm not big.
All right, let's talk about college football.
I'm not big.
New rankings come out, and the playoff.
Whateve you want to call it.
The obese, not big, pretty slim.
Fluffy.
All right. College football rankings just came out, and now we got the college playoffs set in stone. So as Alabama's ranked number 1, playing against Ohio State number 4, and as Oregon at number 2, playing Florida State number 3. Get your initial thoughts on these matchups here. What's your initial thoughts? Not at my
these shouldn't have been the matchups. Ohio State should have been nowhere near this. Nowhere. No, I don't care if they won. They won 55. Okay. What else did they do? Of all the teams that were in the top 6, who had the worst loss of all the teams? Ohio State. They lost to West Virginia. Or not even Virginia Tech, which is even worse than West Virginia. It was Virginia Tech, who got cremated a couple weeks ago by somebody who no one even remembers. They shouldn't have even been in the conversation of being into it. Well, Urban Meyer done the 3. I don't care. Well, the other teams don't play. I don't care. If Baylor or TCU would have been a name like Notre Dame or someone else, like if they would have been a name brand, they would have made it in. Put it this way. If they would have been Oklahoma, they would have made it in. If they would have been Oklahoma with 1 loss, they would have made it in. Why? Because their name was Oklahoma. They would have put them in just for name's sake. But because it was TCU and Baylor, they left them out, which was just wrong. Baylor should have been in this no matter what. I don't care what anybody said. They won the head-to-head with TCU. That count. It's supposed to count to something, according to all these people that are doing the rankings and everything. It was supposed to count to something head-to-heads and common opponents. You couldn't get 2 teams that have more common opponents and played head-to-head than TCU and Baylor. You couldn't do it.
No.
None of these teams have played similar teams except those 2 teams. They both beat who they needed to beat. One lost to each other and another one lost to somebody else. But if you're going, our first thing we look at is head-to-head games. If they played each other, well, there you go. Baylor should have been in it. TCU should have never been at 3 to begin with, and we told you this time. And the only reason TCU was at number 3 is because they already beat Kansas State earlier in the year. And I said as soon as Baylor would beat Kansas State, Baylor would jump over them, which they did. And it just
So
it's a screwed up system already. It's screwed up.
I'm gonna add on to that later. We have a question that I was saving. We won't get to that later. Now, as far as my initial
because I jump over stuff. I go to what I want to, I feel like talking about anyway.
It's all good.
And yes, they should have a title game in the Big 12.
Yeah.
But they got to get enough teams
to
have that title game. When you only have 10 teams and you call yourself the Big 12, kind of.
My initial thoughts on the matchup, I guess, like I said, is
but
crazy.
the matchups are going to. I'll get to the matchups now.
Yeah.
The matchups will be good. But I don't think the first matchup's going to be good. Second matchup, phenomenal. I can't wait to see that game.
Mm-hmm.
The Oregon, Ohio State, or Florida State game is the game I want to watch. The first one, I don't care. One team's buses could run into something and them not show up, and I'd be more than happy. And we know which team we're talking about here.
All right. My initial thoughts on the matchup, you got Ohio State. I guess you want to say they got the hot hand. Maybe this is what yes, it's all about money. Maybe that's something that treat them okay. Maybe this is a hot team that we.
They don't got a hot hand. They struggled against Michigan.
True.
They struggled against Michigan. You discredited Florida State because they struggled against teams like that. They struggled against Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan, who's worse than Florida. They struggled against Michigan. But just because they beat somebody 55-0 the next week, you're going to credit them? When Baylor and TCU have been doing it all year long. They've struggled against Michigan. Penn State should have beat Ohio State. Ohio State struggled just like Florida State did. But the reason they put them up there is because of the name Ohio State. Just like I said before, if in the Big 12 it would have been Oklahoma that would have been in that position, Oklahoma would have went into that 4 and Ohio State would have still been left out. Why? Because of that name, Oklahoma.
Right. And I guess the take that I'm going to take from it, and I get where you're coming from, and I totally agree with you. Maybe they wanted to see what this team got. Yes, they're down to their third quarterback, the Cardell Jones. They have Braxton Miller who got hurt. Before that, then you got J.T. Barrett that got hurt a couple games beforehand. You know what? That intrigued me. Alabama's a great team. So this is going to be a hard matchup here. Now, what does end up being a ball game? What if it ends up being a ball game that's saying that maybe Ohio State, for some weird reason, because of playoff team, that they get hot, maybe it's interesting. Now, I get you because the name.
They still shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, I agree. They shouldn't have been there.
No.
So you don't find this intriguing at all that maybe this is a hot team, they beat a team 55-0.
That's the first game they won 55-0. The rest of the time they've been struggling. Yet you got a Florida State team that's done almost the exact same thing, except they did not lose a game to the same way Ohio State has been doing, and you penalized Florida State, and they almost won. If Georgia Tech wouldn't have been a ranked team, or they would have played like Duke or somebody sorry in the ACC championship game and struggled like they did, we could have been talking about Florida State falling out or being number 4. But you're going to credit Ohio State just because they won one ball game by 55 points, but struggled the rest of the year. It's the contradiction that they've done within all of this is retarded. Baylor just got done beating the number 9 team in the nation. Number 9. Florida State just got done beating number 11. Yes, they beat number 13. But Baylor's been doing it all year against people. Baylor beat the number 3 team in the nation before this mess started coming out.
Hey, my computer was there week when Ohio State got here. But for them to do this to a ranked 13 team with their third-string quarterback, I don't think they should have been in the top 4. But I got to say,
Gordon was hurt. The running back for Wisconsin hurt. Yeah, they came out and they did retarded. The only reason Wisconsin won all them games is because Gordon put them on his back. They struggled almost every game, too. Gordon put them on his back and run for 300 yards. Run for 200 yards. That's the reason Wisconsin won. You have an injured, halfway hurt, halfway not all the way into it Gordon, you should be able to blow the doors off of them because they don't have nothing else.
Hey, I'm just playing devil's advocate here because I think Ohio State's going to get smashed by Alabama, too.
Well, you're giving Nick Saban arguably one of the best coaches ever to coach college football. You're giving Nick Saban this long to prepare for a third-string freshman quarterback. And you're giving his defensive coordinator, who's one of the best coordinators in the game right now, time to do that game plan. And then you have the best hire, no matter if you like him, you don't like him or not. You had the best hire that went on with them bringing in Kiffin into doing their offense. And this guy's getting the game plan against them just as they have the I don't care, Marcus Mariota, great dude. They have the best player in college football in Amari Cooper. Who's going to guard him? Nobody on Ohio State has shown me that they're going to be able to guard this dude.
No, they're not. Hey, they got their hands full.
Oh, they got big, gigantic hands full. I would have rather seen Baylor come in with the balls flying all around going up against Alabama. It brings more of a challenge to Alabama. Sure, it would have been a shootout, and the defenses would have been, but it would have been that thing. Hey, can these teams beat this SEC team? Now you're going to have to watch a third-string quarterback try to come out and beat them. Not saying they can't; they're not capable of, because we've seen what they could do. But
and the thing I agree with you with now,
and Urban's a great coach too. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
He'll be able to game plan, but he's got a. You got a lot on a freshman guy.
This is the concept that you would think that Ohio State got here. You think, okay, maybe the playoffs start next week. That maybe this would be perfect to play that Ohio State.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
But it doesn't.
Starts in January. Which is a bad thing. I got. That's the problem I got with college football. A whole month is in between these games. A whole month. Well, not really a month. 3-4 weeks, or 3 weeks now. It's going to be 3 weeks when we finally get to the games, because they're actually playing them on July 1st, or on January 1st. But I hate that they have this long in between games. What I really ideally would love is you come out right after Christmas, or you play games right before Christmas, and then you play the big game right after Christmas.
Yeah.
That's what and play the big game on New Year's, but play all the playoff games the week before Christmas. Give people something to look forward to. Instead, we got to talk about it for a month. But if you move it to 8, I would love it. This would make me happy, too, if they wanted to hold it up. Make it 8 teams. Play all those games on January 1st. Take an 8-game playoff. Start at noon. Play the games. But if you have 8 teams, you're going to have to do it before January 1st.
Yeah.
So that would be where you play before Christmas. You play all 8 of these games. Then you get it moved to January 1st. And then the next game comes after that.
You would think with that, too, because they're all about making money, that you would find so many sponsors for each game.
Well, you already got all the bowls.
Right.
You've already got bowls that are lined up to get a Cotton Bowl here, Carolina. You already got bowl games that will you just be like, hey, you're going to host a game, 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 you're going to host a game.
Right, and
just throw them in there and let them play the ball games.
But to mention to you, like you saying, Kevin, is that first round. You can do like, okay, Kia, this certain bowl here, this certain bowl, I don't know, Ocean. I'm just making up names.
Well, the first game,
Popeyes is sponsoring
the first games you could go Cotton Bowl, like Dallas, Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa. You can have most of your game, and the good part is you can have most of your games in places that are neutral sites that people from both teams would want to travel to.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Like, why wouldn't people want to come to Florida in December? Just like people want to come to Florida in January to come. There's a reason why Florida has 9 bowl games.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to come down here. But you give places that you can give away these big games. California, the Rose Bowl can have a couple of games.
Yeah.
You can have these games that would be able to go anywhere. They would have no problem doing it. No problem whatsoever in setting up all these games.
They're doing the bowl, we're at the Bahamas now?
Yeah. They had a Bahama Bowl?
Yeah. Popeyes is sponsoring this.
The Popeyes Atlantis Bowl.
The Central Michigan team was cheering because they're going.
We're going to Hawaii!
Yeah,
and Bahamas!
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you're